Well, it looks like Marvel Studios is actually going to do right by the mutants in the MCU. At least, that is what is being reported. Now, many people know about the firing of Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror in the MCU. Jonathan Majors is no longer playing Kang the Conqueror. They will recast Kang eventually, but for now he is being put on the sidelines until Avengers Secret Wars, or a movie that would come out right before Avengers Secret Wars. Now, this whole situation was truly unfortunate. However, something positive kind of came out of it, and that is the inclusion of more X-Men in the Multiverse Saga. As it stands right now, according to reports from some insiders, Marvel Studios is looking to make not one but two X-Men films, and possibly a Disney Plus series about some X-Men characters as well. And based off of what we've heard, it sounds like it's going to be a pretty decent plan. And you have to remember, Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel Studios, knows a lot about the X-Men, about mutants. He started his career with the very first X-Men film in 2000. From there, he went on to work on X2, X-Men The Last Stand, and of course, a ton of movies in between like Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, The Fantastic Four, Man-Thing, Punisher, Daredevil, you get it. Kevin Feige has been planning to use the X-Men in the MCU long before he even had the right to do it. So we know he has some plans, and recently we heard that Marvel Studios has begun meeting with writers for upcoming X-Men projects. And with Kang being sidelined in the MCU, Kevin Feige needs something else to bring a lot of excitement to the MCU right now that's also going to hold great importance to the story. And it looks like he's found that in the X-Men. We'll break down everything you need to know about these three projects that have been reported in this video. And if you're new, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest MCU news. And if you leave a comment and subscribe, you're automatically entered in our giveaway for a chance to win an Xbox Series X, a PS5, some Marvel Legends items, or some DC items. The winner picks one item, and we pick a winner at the end of each month. Only 4 days left, so be sure to subscribe. So right off the bat, like I mentioned, there are going to be two separate X-Men movies that Kevin Feige wants to make. One, according to insider Daniel RPK, will be an X-Men reboot for the MCU, and for now, Magneto is not a part of the plan for that movie. Now, we'll get back to this movie in just a bit, but it looks like Magneto is not a part of that plan because, and according to Daniel RPK again, Kevin Feige is looking to make a Brotherhood of Mutants movie where Magneto will debut. And I personally think that this is a good idea. And I think it's a good idea because of the group and the story that comes with the group. Because the Brotherhood of Mutants is devoted to mutant superiority over normal humans, which means we are going to be getting that storyline in the MCU. And mutants and humans coexisting has always been one of the major story plots for X-Men. And this is something that a lot of people were really curious about because everybody is wondering, do the X-Men already exist in our 616 universe? And if so, where have they been this entire time? There's plenty of theories that we'll dive into in another video, like Charles Xavier has been shielding the mutants from the human population with his powers, maybe with the help of Jean Grey and Cerebro. Again, a lot of theories out there, but unfortunately this question won't be answered until we get our first X-Men film. But keep this in mind about these two X-Men films. Grace Randolph reported that the Fantastic Four film that is coming to the MCU not too long from now is going to take place in another universe. This does make sense. We are in the Multiverse Saga, and it would make sense to show us the perspective of a different universe than ours. We also know that the multiverse is going to start to fall apart, incursions are going to start to happen, and universes are going to start colliding with each other. So even if characters are from a different universe, there is still great possibilities for them to interact with characters from our universe. So this could happen with the X-Men movies as well. They don't necessarily have to take place in our specific universe, but at the end of everything after Secret Wars, we know there's going to be a reboot. And the new universe will most likely be a collection of remains from many different universes, and that includes people as well. So even though these characters might be introduced in other universes, it doesn't mean that moving forward, they won't be in our universe, because they most likely will. Because keep in mind, we are talking about new X-Men, not the old X-Men. Those are going to return in Deadpool 3 and Avengers Secret Wars, but this is a new X-Men team and a new Brotherhood of Mutants team. And I really like the idea of building up separately an X-Men team and a Brotherhood of Mutants team. That gives us more time, and it's not as rushed, and it gives us time to get more invested in these characters. That way, when they do finally meet, we care more. We care more about the X-Men, and we care more about Magneto and his cause. This is kind kind of been one of Marvel's problems lately. They tend to rush everything and not give us enough time to really get invested in certain characters and care about certain characters. So having a movie that focuses on the X-Men, talks about their story, how they come together or came together if they're already a team, giving them a different X-Men villain or just simply Marvel villain to take on in that movie, and then do a movie about Magneto, talk about his past, talk about some of the past of other villains that are joining him, and then finally have them come together in a different movie where the X-Men go up against the Brotherhood. I think that would be awesome. And it certainly would get people super excited about the MCU again, which is exactly what Kevin Feige wants and needs. So we could be getting a Brotherhood of Mutants film where Magneto will be the main character of that film, and we could be getting a separate X-Men film, which hopefully will show how the X-Men came together, how Professor X got his X-Men team. And like I mentioned, if they do make a Disney Plus show about the X-Men, this will probably play a big role for these two mutant movies, because if they release the Disney Plus series before and they choose to make one episode about one specific X-Men character, well then, one, that'll give us enough time to invest in these individual characters like I mentioned before, but two, it'll also make it to where the movies don't seem that rushed, because the characters that are going to make up the X-Men team or the Brotherhood of Mutants team will have already been shown to us. We will already have known a little bit about them already. So overall, it will probably feel a lot more complete, and I do like the idea of a Disney Plus show about the X-Men or mutants, having one episode dedicated to one or two specific mutants. Rather than having a show that starts with a story and just progresses all the way on, it'll kind of be like Marvel's What If, where each episode is about a specific story about specific characters. That's how they can do this for the X-Men. And if the goal really is to make two separate X-Men movies, one about the good guys and one about the bad guys, it definitely would be cool to have gotten to know some of these mutants before we dive into these movies. And this is what Marvel Studios was planning before with their special presentations. We heard that they were going to make some special presentations about Nova, Ghost Rider, the Silver Surfer. And side note, some of these are still being planned by Marvel Studios according to some insiders. But the reason that Marvel Studios wanted to do these special presentations about these characters was so you had a little bit of context for their story before they're introduced in another film. And it's kind of a perfect idea for an X-Men film where a lot of different people are involved. A lot of different mutants would be introduced in two movies. Let's say we have an X-Men team of 6 characters, and then we have a Brotherhood team of 6 characters as well. It's totally possible to do movies with these characters and kind of give us some quick backstories about them. Of course, this is what we've seen done in the past, and it's worked in the past. However, if we have a little bit more understanding of what their stories are, we'll definitely be more invested, and we'll care more about the characters, which is what I really think has been missing from Marvel Studios recently. So I hope these reports end up being true. I hope Marvel Studios decides to make not only these 2 films, but a Disney Plus show as well. And I do like not introducing Magneto in the first X-Men movie, but giving him his own specific movie and giving his team their own specific movie as well. But go ahead and let me know your thoughts about this in the comments down below. And if you have a specific X-Men lineup in your mind of who you would like to see debut, be sure to put that in the comments down below as well. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you can stay up to date on the MCU. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter as well. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.